I had a mentor once and he said people are going to argue for their limitations. They're going to argue for where they are because they see that as truth and they see it as real, right? And I've seen this happen over and over again where people believe the things that they believe only because they've been believing it for so long, right? I'll give you an example. I was doing something in my business and I have the mindset that everything's working out for me. Like everything's going to work out for me. Doesn't matter what situations come up, I'm going to win. It's always going to work. And maybe that I take that for granted because I've exercised it so much that this muscle is so strong right now that even if I had the evidence in front of me telling me it's not going to work, I'll be like, so what? It's going to work. And this is something that's not just, stupid perseverance or not taking the facts as they are. I don't take anything the way they are. Like, I probably should have retitled this, like, never take no for an answer. I never take no for an answer. It doesn't matter what the situation is, I'm going to get what I want. No is not even something that if someone told me no, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going until I get my yes. And I'm going to keep asking it or looking at the situation in a different way until a yes arrives, for me. When you stay in the state of everything's always working out for you or that everything's going to be in your favor, things are always moving in to unravel for your benefit, you get into a different level of faith than the regular people out here. You get into a state of, not thinking that things will go wrong. I'll give you an example. This is how a negative lack mindset will come up. And I don't like using the word negative only because it has such a negative connotation to it, but it really is rooted in lack. And again, that goes back to unhealed stuff that we have in us, right? So let's take, for example, someone who's trying to, create the unthinkable, or maybe it's just something that's not even the unthinkable. It's something that you're trying to do something, but you've got me going, yeah, you can go do it. And then you've got someone else going, hey, but we got to be careful over here. And you might have these two voices inside of yourself that's like, hey, we got to go do it. And then you've got another voice that's saying, hey, but careful, we got to think about all the things that could go wrong because we need to, think about, hey, this person's going to say this could happen if we do this. If we do this, we'll get that. And what happens to a lot of people is that they struggle with this internal voice inside of themselves that's literally telling them, stop, don't go. Stop, don't go. You've got to rethink everything. Stop, do not move. Stop and overthink, overanalyze, and literally put all of the crap that you've been raised with into every single decision that you've been making, and you don't just move. I'll tell you, the people that have the most success are the ones that actually don't overthink. They get an idea and they move. And this is why I have a saying in my business called saying messy makes me millions, because I have really hung up that belief system that I have to know everything before I start. I've hung up that things have to be perfect before I start. What happens with people who have a very lack negative mindset is that they're going to impose their belief systems on you of why it won't work. They do this to themselves too, but they're like, well, last time this is what happened. They'll think about all the previous, times that they tried to do X, Y, Z or whatever it is. And they'll remind you, hey, remember when we tried to do that? This is what happened, because that's what they have, this internal voice inside of them saying, hey, don't do that because remember what happened last time. And they continuously will try and stop themselves, block themselves, create resistance from this extraordinary life that they could have filled with so many opportunities. And it's kind of sad because perhaps there was a person that's like that. I was like that before. I don't even remember, because now I'm in the mindset of like, well, it's going to work. It's just always going to work. It's always going to work. And I do take that for granted, maybe because I've worked on so hard, like so much on it that I don't think of any other way. I mean, if something might not work right now, it doesn't mean it's not ever going to work. And so I just have to decide whether or not I want it bad enough and how I'm going to keep going. Unfortunately, for the majority of people, they are in this paralysis state. They won't go do the thing because they'll sit there and think, well, if I do this, this will happen. So I can't. If I, write a book, who will read it? If I decide to start a podcast, no one will listen to it. If I make a program, who's going to buy it? If I, they'll come up with the reasons why everything won't work. And this is where the excuse factory comes up, and they've got a limited amount of excuses of why something won't work. They'll tell themselves over and over again, hey, halt, don't go. And, that's almost like a freeze response in trauma, right? Like, careful, careful. And at the end of the day, what's really happening is people don't want to get hurt. They want to be disappointed. They don't want to be hurt. And that feeling of things not working out or the rejection is so unbearable that their nervous system is like signaling their brain, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Let's not do that again. Remember when we touched the stove and it was hot? That's basically what they're doing right now. And why is that rooted in lack? Well, it's because you're not seeing the world as an abundance thinking way of saying, hey, everything's working out no matter what. Abundance is always going to see the positive in things, and a lack mindset will always find the negative in it. They'll always make the excuses. They'll try and find a way to like kibosh it even before it gets off the ground. So for me, I feel like if you can start every day rewiring what beliefs are coming up for you, like if you can say, let's say, you're trying to catch a plane, or you're running late, or something's happening and you're like, oh, I'm going to be late for this flight. I'm going to be late for this flight. Guess what? You're going to be late for this flight. But what if you said, you know what? We're just going to go anyway. We're just going to go anyway. We'll just see what happens. And say you go anyway and you make the plane and they shut the door. At least you tried, right? At least you went all in. And you know what? If it didn't work, guess what? You'll get another plane. It's not the end of the world, right? And I think for most people, because they don't do the second option, everything is like, the end of the world. They don't allow themselves to go dream really big, or to go beyond where they are right now, or to create different realities for themselves. They can't quantum leap because, like we talked about in the last episode, because they're sitting in this comfortable place of, I want to say misery, because it's not a happy place. It's a place of, well, things always go wrong, so I'm just going to play it safe over here and do nothing. Well, doing nothing is hurting people. Now, I know it's practical thinking for many people, like, hey, this is just how it is, but I live in such a, I don't know if you want to call it la la land. I don't know, but people probably would call it la la land. My land is, it doesn't matter what the practical, what's reality. I'm going to do, and I'm going to believe whatever it takes to have the thing that I want. So I invite you to start looking at how your language is. Are you somebody who doesn't try and go for it? Are you somebody that's coming up with so many excuses of why something won't work? And I'll tell you, people are doing this in such a subconscious level, they don't even realize it. If you find yourself arguing for why something should not go right, or arguing that it's going to go wrong, or all these things are going to come up, I guarantee you're doing it about a lot of things in your life, right? And to me, it's a barrier for success. It's a barrier for what the next level is. You have to be a person that only lives in the possibility of course it's going to work. Of course things are working out for me. I mean, I want you to try that. Everything's always working out for me. And I didn't come up with that. Someone else came up with that. Allowing yourself to be in the possibility of, yes, this will work out. Because the more you say that, guess what? The more it will work out. It is really hard for most people when they've been programmed for decades to protect themselves so they don't touch the hot stove. So their mindset is that way. Their mindset is always looking for what's wrong. Their mindset is always looking how to protect them. Their mindset is looking how to stop them. Their mindset is creating the resistance. This is why mindset work is so important. It is essential for you in whatever you're doing. When women come to work with me, one of the things that I help them see is like, whatever you're believing right now is not your truth, right? It's not the truth. It's just what you've just been believing. How about you try on this different belief? And then we get to the root of why someone's programming is repeating that they're doing this same thing over and over with a particular situation, because you'll see that happen, right? Maybe I should save this for another episode, but maybe I will. But one of the things that I'll give you an example. People who are in lack, they're going to have a lot of lawsuits. They're going to have a lot of friction. People in the negative lack mindset, they're going to be filing lawsuits. They're going to have people taking money from them. They're going to have, because that's victim stuff, right? They're going to be in the place of like allotting blame, trying to justify, convince, as opposed to just allowing and receiving and being open to, what else is out there. I know that this mindset is not what everybody can think of, but I'll tell you, The more that you allow yourself to see the possibility of what can be, the more the can be can come in. If there is a thought that comes up for you that is negative, right? That is so not serving you, I want you to ask yourself, why do I believe this to be true? And I guarantee you it didn't come from you. Maybe it came from past experience. Maybe it came from your parents. Maybe it came from somewhere else. But if you don't want to believe that belief anymore, guess what? Just change it. That's how easy it is. Just change it. Start seeing. So this is how I went from being in lack to abundance. I had to start with all my negative thinking thoughts. What was I thinking about? Where was I a negative Nancy? And where could I be, in a positive thinking state? Where can I bring myself from this negative to this positive? It is very difficult for most people to stop complaining, stop bitching, being the victim. It's really hard for people to stop that because that gets them a lot of attention. That also keeps them stuck. It keeps them in this false sense of safety. It keeps them in a place of not, ascending to where they need to go next. It also just keeps a story going over and over again that they know the ending of it. They know how it ends. And it keeps them safe, a false sense of safety. So I had to sit down and really rewire. This is why part of my journaling program, and if you don't have it, you should go grab that course, but where I help you identify what the thoughts you're thinking and why you're thinking them, how they're not serving you, and how to really move through them. This is where we're trying to design the life of our dreams and really grow a big vision, see beyond what's in front of us, right? But imagine people with the negative mindset. How can they even see the possibility of what can be created in their life if the thought would come up and like, that's never going to happen, no way, and they just close the doors on it. So they don't even actually expand into how to create the most magical life. My life is magical. The way that I live is magical. The business that I run is magical. It is so next level because I have allowed myself to go to that next level of thinking, believing, and feeling into the possibility of what my life could be like. But if you're on maybe 0 to 1, where I'm over here at a 20, you want to get yourself to, of course this can happen. Of course this can work out. Of course there's a possibility. All it takes is just the 1% of maybe it could work. But most of the time people are talking themselves out of their own dreams. They're talking themselves out of the possibility. They're talking themselves out of their success. They're talking themselves out of the most amazing relationships. They're talking themselves out of the life that they could create because they're allowing that lack and scarcity and negative thinking keep them held down just so that they could have a false sense of safety. I know that's crazy, right? But let me tell you, if I could change that mindset, you can change that mindset. And I never say that. Usually I say if she can, I can. But I'm telling you, the fact that I was able to rewire this, and I help thousands of women do this too. I know the possibility is there for you. All right. I hope you loved this episode. It went a little bit longer than my most, but if you haven't got my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, go grab it now. This book is going to really help you with those journaling prompts. And if you've gotten it and you're reading it and you enjoy it, please go leave me a review on Amazon. And if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please go ahead and leave me a review because I love them. They're so helpful in helping our channel grow and get us to out to millions of people. Also, if you have not got our daily CEO money moves, go grab that. And we've got a digital book coming out for you guys to grab as well. And go join the Quantum Woman group. All females, go head over there. And if you're on YouTube and Instagram, my YouTube videos are amazing. So, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And if you felt like this was valuable, please share it. Tag me in their stories on Instagram and share with somebody who you know that this could be helpful. Maybe there's someone in your life that's got some negative mindset thinking, and you know what? Listening to this might spark something inside of them to start thinking a different way, or at least be aware from their thinking. I could have listed all the things that people were doing when they're thinking. I'll tell you, they use can't. It's not going to work. That didn't work before. I don't know. This won't work. This can't happen. And they worry. And people who are in that state will never get to those level of success that they really could have in this lifetime. And they won't be able to expand into it with that mindset. All right. If you love this episode, let me know. And bye for now, and see you in the next episode.